Welcome into On Deck. I'm Tyler Edmond. I'm here with Brother Francis himself, Bob Kelly. Nice to see you, sir.
Nice to see you, Tyler.
So, there's some people out there that are probably my age that are not sure who you are, who I'm referring to when I say Brother Francis. And I'm referring to the guy that dressed up like a monk as a fan back in the 1980s?
80s through 84, so 5 seasons. I started at the home opener in 80. They were playing the Big Red Machine, and they had just come home from a 7-game road trip where they were 0-7.
Did you bring them any good luck?
Well, I think I did. We only lost 3-1 that night, and Chris Chambliss hit a home run in the 8th inning. When I got on the dugout, we're down 3-0, and crowd was wondering who I was, as I was wondering what I was doing there. But Chambliss took the second pitch to right field, made it 3-1, and the story of Brother Francis started.
Well, let's go back a step or two. Tell me kind of the idea of wearing this costume. Tell me where that comes from.
Well, my brother, Rick, and I started a restaurant. Restaurant's a strong word. A little neighborhood pub, and it was called the Pew and Brew. Our logo was a Franciscan monk who at that time was Brother Dominic, who did commercials for Xerox. So we had a cutout of him over the kitchen window, and then I said, "Hey Rick, I'm going to get a monk's outfit." Rick is skinny and Bobby was heavier, so I said, "I'm going to get a monk's outfit." When we go to the Braves opener, we took a crowd of 45 on the bus with us, and we were down great seats and everything. And in the 7th inning, we were down 3-0, and I said to Rick, "Rick, I'm going to get on the dugout and try to wake these fans up." The rest is history. I got on the dugout, and after the inning started, security told me, "Don't do it again. You're not allowed on the dugout."
I was waiting on that.
Oh yeah, they told me, you can't do it. So I said, "Heck, I'm going to do it again." So I did it in the 8th inning, and we were losing 3-0 to the Big Red Machine. And Chris Chambliss, who we had just acquired over the winter, signed him as a free agent. He comes to bat, and the second pitch he takes to right field and scores 3-1. And then as I looked up, I sort of had that feeling of Custer. I saw security guys coming down every row, and I said, "Well, I guess I'm really in trouble now." But Wayne Minshew saved me from security and going to jail. They wanted to take me to jail to make an example. And he told me, let's get together. Wayne said, "Let's get together tomorrow and see what we can work out."
Well, can you tell me, as years go by, they kind of are more open to you. They just get used to it, or did they?
Oh yeah,
they got to know you?
They thought I was bringing something to the team. I wasn't obnoxious. I bought my own season ticket. Now, it was an inexpensive season ticket, so I wasn't working for the Braves, but I had signed a contract with the Braves that if in the event something happened and I got hurt, the Braves weren't liable. And so they had a little locker room for me, a space in the ushers' locker room, and it's where I could change and everything. I never showed up before the 7th inning and everything. And one night I came out in the 7th to do my thing, and Tommy Boggs had a no-hitter going. So I said, Bobby's Brother Francis not going down there with the no-hitter. So thank goodness he gave up a hit in the 7th. So in the 8th inning I appeared and everything.
Yeah, the last thing you wanted to do was jinx that.
That no-hitter, that's right.
Well, I'm sure you made friends over the years. In fact, you got a baseball in your arms right now. It's signed by Phil Necro. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with him?
Phil was a great guy and still is a great guy. In fact, I saw the interview that you had with him from the golf tournament, and he gave me this baseball the second night of the season, and I've kept it. It was definitely, he didn't get me a brand new game ball. It was used, and it's just something I treasure, and I'll pass it on down to the boys and everything. But Phil Niekro was a great guy. He loved the game of baseball. He went to the Yankees when he left, and then he wanted to become the Braves manager. Unfortunately, sort of the same story as with Babe Ruth, wanted to be the Yankees manager, and it didn't happen. But Phil Niekro deservingly is in the Hall of Fame, and he is definitely a guy that when you talk about baseball, his knuckleball was the best knuckleball thrown. And there's a guy, Hoyt Wilhelm, who threw a good one back in the American League. And then Joe, Phil's brother, threw a decent one too. But Phil was the guy that when you played the Braves and he was the starting pitcher, you had to wonder which ball am I going to hit, the waffle ball or ball over here?
You know, there's a lot to be excited about as years went on throughout the 80s. You had two sluggers in particular, Dale Murphy and Bob Horner. You know, do you think they brought the excitement into Atlanta?
Well, yeah, they did. I mean, they two different personalities. Bobby was, you know, he was not a rah-rah guy. He just did his job on the field. He played third base. He hit home runs. He had a agent called Bucky Woe, who was a tough guy, and I think he didn't help Bobby's career and everything, because I think Bobby left baseball at an early age and went to Japan. Murphy, the man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. He won
Yes, he does.
MVP in '81 and '82 on teams that weren't very good. The one year, '82, we won the division. We got knocked out by St. Louis. But Murphy was the milk and chocolate cake guy or apple pie guy. He just was a real gentleman and never stepped back from a kid when they asked for an autograph. And I was fortunate. I ran into him at the opening of SunTrust. I was walking in to go to the box where I was staying, and all of a sudden I see a gentleman carrying a child on his shoulders, and I look up and it's Murph, and I said, "Hey, Murph." Well, when somebody calls him Murph, he reacts because that was the name. So he turned around, and I walked over, and I introduced. I said, "Murph, brother Francis." "Ah, brother, you know, very nice." Asked me how I was doing. I said I had grandchildren also, and everything was well, and it was good to see him. So Murph, just two different guys, both did great jobs. But Murphy deserves to be, he's what, 2 or 3 home runs shy of 400, and he did everything else right. So I hope that they, somewhere along the line before Murphy goes to heaven, that they put him in the Hall of Fame.
You know, it's looking more and more like people similar to Murph are going in the Hall of Fame with this Veterans Committee that they've had over the past few years. I do think there's a very good chance. But since then, you know, you're still a Braves fan. You know, you're still.
I love them. I am a big Braves fan. I run into Coxie. I saw Coxie last year. I was up in the 680, the fans booth, and he came in there, and right away "Hey Bobby, how are you?" And his first comment, "Where's the robes, brother?" And
yeah, where are they?
Well, they're home in mothballs, and I figured they'd smell too bad to come to meet you today. But you know, I'm fortunate. You know, Otis Nixon and Rocker in the area, and I run into them occasionally. And Otis has played in my golf tournament that I was involved in, and so it's great. I lived a dream. I always wanted to play baseball, and I wasn't very good. I think my lifetime batting average is 181. But in another way, I got to be on the field and get to know them, be in locker rooms, and it was a great 4 years.
This is Walter Banks. I'm on deck with Tyler Rip. Keep up the good work, Tyler. Hope you're the best. Hope I see you soon.
Walter Banks. He's getting a bobblehead this season.
Oh.
And I want you to tell me a little bit about Walter, your experiences.
Walter Banks is the usher, and I got to know Walter in the 80s through being Brother Francis, but he did the aisle where Ted used to sit and everything, and just a great guy. And then when Fulton County Stadium got torn down, he went over to Turner Field. He worked there, and now he's in SunTrust Field. He's just a gentleman, and this guy has been an usher for 50 plus years, and they're going to do a bobblehead of him. I'll tell you what.
I want it.
I want it big time, and I might have to use a little bit of my influence and tell him, hey, Walter, remember the monk and get me one of those bobbleheads.
He's been nothing but a gentleman to me. Any fan that runs across him wants to come back.
Yeah, and the thing that's so good, he stayed with the game, but he loves the game. I mean, he started out as a 23-year-old usher, and he politely worked his way up, and with no politics involved, and he became the usher for Ted Turner in that row. And he would have to tell people, no, you can't go down there and bother. Or if it was a governor, he knew it was a governor, he said, go ahead and go down. He just a gentleman, and I'm glad that I can say we were good acquaintances.
Well, you brought him up, so now I got to ask you, did you ever have a run-in with Ted Turner?
No, Ted was always nice to me. He appreciated what I was doing, and I stayed out of the way. But I finally sent him a picture of me shaking hands with him from the dugout, and he signed it and sent it back to me and everything. But no, Ted was a good gentleman. He knew I loved the Braves, and he knew I was doing what I was doing because of that reason, and he never said take that guy off the dugout or leave him alone.
That's awesome. I don't know if it happened in today's world, but but for that time it was amazing.
Well, it was, but I was up at the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago because my grandsons played ball up there, and I went in. One day I just told them drop me off here at 1 o'clock and pick me up at 4, and I went and to see the chickens costume in there. It was fantastic because here was a guy who did that for a radio station, and when they decided they didn't want to do it anymore, he kept it going. And George was just a great guy and a quick story. Ted loved him. Ted used to bring him 2 or 3 times a year to the stadium to have him come work. So one night we're talking before the game, and I said, look, in the 5th inning, I want you to come down and get on the dugout with me. I'm going to have something for you. Well, it was a chicken leg. I didn't tell him that, but I had a chicken leg. So, and then when he got on the dugout, I said, okay, George, I said, walk towards home plate, spread your legs apart. I said, I'm going to come down, put my head between your legs. I'm going to pick you up on my shoulders. He said, you think you can do that? I said, how much do you weigh? He said, 125 pounds. I said, no problem. So I did that, and we turned around, and there was a picture on the Atlanta Journal-Link day of the chicken on my shoulders. And so, there was no competitiveness there. That was just fun. One night, he was on the 3rd base, I'm on the 1st, and they were playing the theme song to Rocky, which was, and I was acting like I come on over. But there are just so many great memories about the Braves, the people, and the people that I met through that is just fantastic.
Well, not too many fans are remembered, right, over the years. Mm-hmm. You have been cherished by Braves country. People remember you. They share you on pictures of you on Facebook. That's where I found this picture, was somebody shared it on Facebook. What does it mean to you that people know who you are still to this day and cherish those memories?
It's nice. I was young, and I had a wife, 3 children. 3rd one was named after Rick Camp, Timothy Joseph Camp Kelly. But I'm prouder where I am today. I'm a reborn Christian. I follow the Lord very closely now. I have a ministry I started 7 years ago that's doing very well. But those are nice memories, and people that come up and say, oh, I remember you. I appreciate that, but I think I'm where I'm supposed to be now versus then. And but that's what that little dash between when you're born and when you're dead, that's what that little dash stands for. The things that you did during your lifetime, and hopefully you're remembered for the good things and I think what I did with the Braves was a good thing, and the rest of whatever goes on.
Let's talk about what you're doing now. I want you to tell kind of what your ministry is about, what it's for. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
I started this ministry, Tyler, 7 years ago, and it's called HOG, Helping One God. And what I do, I find a gentleman, a man, that's going through a life-changing crisis, and we do a dinner for him. HOG pays for the dinner, and all the money we raise, 100% of it goes to that ministry. When we first started, we were making $424, $600. Well, as we've worked hard to make it better, last year we gave somebody over $10,000. We're averaging now about 160 people to a dinner, and we're averaging somewhere in the $6,000 range now. So it's grown, and you know, I look back and I say, you know, maybe God was trying to tell me something back in the 80s, that I could get in front of people and make a difference.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, it took a long time for me to realize that. And I'm blessed. I have a great pastor who's 100% behind me, Mike Lynch, played ball at Liberty College for Bobby Richardson, and it's changed my life immensely. I'm very happy where I am, and I hope I have a few more years to do the HOG thing, and also maybe be here to see the Braves win a World Series.
No doubt in my mind. I always do this with any former Brave, and I'm going to include you in that when I say this. I'd like you to tell Braves country anything you'd like to tell them.
Well, you know, we don't have the ownership like we had when Ted had it. Ted was, everything was to win, and Ted went out and did it. Now a big corporation owns it, but they've done the right thing. We've got a beautiful new stadium, SunTrust Park. We've got some great young players. We have the Rookie of the Year. We have Swanson. We got some good pitching. We're going to be around. Now, because we have gotten better, the Mets and the Phillies said, hey, we got to go out and get better. So they did get better. But I think it's going to be a tight race in the National League East. I think the Braves will be involved in that race. And I just say support them. It's good baseball. We've got good announcers, and Joe Simpson and Chip, and then we have Sutton over in the radio booth. So, I mean, enjoy Braves baseball at the park, and I think there's going to be some great times there in the next few years.
Well, I plan to see you there one of these games pretty soon.
I'm going to take you down there one game. I mentioned towards the end of the season when the Royals come in.
Don't get me in trouble now.
No, I won't get you in trouble.
I want to thank you so much.
Hey,
for
Tyler,
the
it's
interview.
great. Thank you for finding me.